Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode. In last week's episode, we started building out our kitchen cabinet. If you missed it, click that link in the top right corner. This week's episode picks up right where that one left off. As we roll the intro, don't forget to subscribe. Hope you enjoy this video. I stopped at Home Depot this morning and picked up some cabinet boards. So my plan is to basically make a face frame for this right side of the cabinet and then have a piece that runs into the other side of the cabinet just to be blocking off this hole so that you're not just seeing into the back of the drawers. So that will run basically 5 inches or so into the door, past the door frame there. And then I'll have one board on the top that runs the whole length of the cabinet, and that is going to be our backer that we screw into the framing that is bolted into the van. I'm gonna go ahead, start cutting the pieces for this face frame that we're gonna have back here. And we're gonna have to rip down a piece of plywood to both make that wall piece and then the door. Because I need Katie's help to get the 1/4 inch ply out of the shed, I'm going to go ahead and just attach these pieces for the frame that I've already cut and pocket hold. So I'm just going to glue and screw just like we have for all the other face frames. This time, instead of setting it up backwards the first time, I was smart and visualized it upside down. So there we go, guys. This is what it's going to look like. Pushed up there. One of the things I did was make a spacer on top because our countertop is going to be 3/4, and I am actually going to have this butt up to the countertop so that it's flush, because our countertop isn't deep enough to be able to go over the top of this because I wasn't planning to do this 3/4 inch face prior, but now that I am, I'm just gonna have it butt up so it should be nice and smooth across the whole top. We're just gonna have to figure out the ply for the side and then we'll be good to go. Well guys, after contemplating a little bit more about the 3/4 inch ply that I have in the shed, the original intent for that is to make the bench seat and our pull-out pantry. Because I had that cutoff of this top piece in the framing, I lined that up to see where it would fit coming up the side, and it actually fills that gap that we're trying to do with the plywood. I got another one of these 5.5 inch boards, so I'm going to measure it out to fit this bottom gap to hopefully make it nice and square, and then cut that off and pocket jig it in so that we have a perfect rectangle spot for the door. From there, once that is complete, we will move on to cutting that door to fit. Check this out. So I think this is going to look really good when it's painted and all attached. It has a nice frame on the edge, which I think our switch will be able to butt up right too, so that'll look nice. One of the things I have to try to figure out though is there in the ProMaster there is a little notch thing. I think it's for this lock piece here or whatever. I don't exactly know what that if that's the door sensor or what that is. But it sticks inside the wall, so I'm going to have to notch out the face frame to be able to fit around that. So I've tried to draw a few different pencil marks on it, and I'm going to go ahead and just see if I can't make a little curve around that and then see that it's fitting all right. Yeah, perfect fit. I am excited. Lunch break. Peanut butter. Once I'm done with my sandwich, I'm going to figure out what this opening is And then we're going to get some 3/4 inch ply to be able to cut a door. Then we'll go ahead and put in some concealed hinge holes to be able to put those hinges on. Sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Holy crap, guys. So, dug through the shed to try to get out the full 4x8 sheet of ply that we have. And this piece, when we originally tried to make our upper cabinet doors out of the birch ply, I cut this piece down for that. And it is an absolutely perfect fit widthwise across. So I am just trying to make a simple reveal, pretty equal on the bottom, and I'm just going to draw a line straight across the top and then see about sawing that line off, and then we'll see if the tall edge, upper edge, will need a little bit of a cutoff because it is pretty close. As of right now, it's looking pretty damn spot on. I can't even believe it. All right, guys, so I did my best to make the same reveal on all of the sides. And I can say I am 100% happy with that. The next step is going to be putting the hinge cups, drilling those into the door, in the back side of the door. We'll go ahead and sand everything down, prime it, paint it, then we'll get this stuff attached. Woo! Good morning, guys. Katie decided to join me out under our moonshade today because it is absolutely disgusting outside. And the shade does an amazing job. So I'll link that video up over there. One of the first things I want to do before finishing painting the back frame and door is to put in holes for our electrical cables on the middle here because they come into the wall here. So I'm going to use a 1/8 inch paddle bit to do a hole there. And on this side, I'm going to have to cut out a square for our face plate for our switches to sit. And the plan is to do it high enough so that the frame that we made, which is this size board, it'll be coming out directly behind this so that I have something that I can anchor those cords to so they're not just rattling around on anything, and it'll give a nice clean look. We won't be seeing those cables hanging out anywhere. So got that 1/8 inch hole with the paddle bit, and one thing to limit some of the cutout from the back is if you go halfway in and where the tip comes out the back and then follow in from the other side. So there's a little bit of a paint rip up and stuff, but I'll go ahead and try to just take a little bit of sandpaper and even that down, and then I'm going to paint that hole as we're painting the rest of it. And then this one got it on the first go. Pretty exciting. My main goal for this was to have the face line up with this edge because we are going to have a flip up extension, and I measured it nearly spot on, so we needed to have this as far over as we could. And so we're still going to have that face frame that will level out to the edge, so it'll be perfectly right in that seam, which I'm super excited for. So that will be our living and bed lights. So everything's painted and dry. The last thing we got to do before we put that face frame on is pocket hole through the uprights, and then we're going to do screws through some of the flat members just right into the face frame, just to be able to snug it up in there.
We don't praise us.
go. The backer's on. One of the things that we're going to have to do in the future, and I probably won't do it in this video, I have to cut a piece of board to fit on this inner gap so that when the door closes it has something to stop on, because the hinges don't stop it. It would basically go in and wreck the hinges that I put on. So we'll figure that out in the future here. But otherwise that door fits perfectly in that gap, putting it in there. Hopefully everything else will line up nice and perfect in the van. The next thing, we're just going to go ahead and clean the floor off in the van. Make sure, you know, all the dirt and grime is up. We will plan to construction adhesive the bottom of the cabinet just to give it a solid base, get rid of any of those squeaks that might happen while we're driving down the road, and then we'll pocket hole 3 pocket screws into each upright, and then as well this backer on this side is what we're going to use to drill into the frame of the van. We have a piece of framing that is screwed into the frame with those plus nuts in a few spots, so that'll give quite a bit of rigidity. Check it out. Solid. Those pocket screws and the construction adhesive were down on the bottom, and it is legit, like not moving at all. So the next step after getting that all done is I'm going to put some 2-inch screws into that backing board into the frame of the van. I'll probably just do 3 of them across that little spot. One of the last things that I need to do tonight is these marks here are where our faucet has to go in, and there's a plate that sits back, and we won't be able to thread on the nut without this piece gone. Coming in with the oscillator tool, my buddy had this. I am super excited to be able to use it because I was expecting I was going to try to have to use my jigsaw. I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work. So this basically will just go on the face, and I'll just hold it and it'll cut straight through that wood as it oscillates back and forth. I think that's one of my favorite tools ever. Look at that. Perfect cut. That piece fits with like 1 inch on both sides now. So one of the other things after, you know, we cut these holes, the electrical wires go through. I'm going to have it just run the side of this, and luckily where the piece goes down, it'll go down and that will be able to fit behind it no problem. So definitely excited that that's going to work out perfectly as well. We'll have the switches there at the door. That inset door, I will still have to figure out a couple pieces to stop it, and then I will have one of those push button latches is what we're planning to use for all of our drawers and stuff. So that'll be on this side of the door. Same with down here. There'll be double doors here, a drawer here, and then drawers all the way up there. So yeah. Thanks for taking along on this episode of our van build series, everyone. Got that cabinet box all installed. It is nice and firm. It actually shakes the whole van when you move it. Next up is going to be plumbing, so look for that video next week. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be notified when we post new content. We have a lot more van build videos coming your way, so we'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.